Your special birthday, holiday, person, or just because at Dozy Place. Start with delicious appetizers and your choice of drinks from the largest selection of wines, beer, and liquor in the River Valley. Dozy Place is open Tuesday through Thursday 5 till 9 and Friday and Saturday 5 till 10. Reservations are recommended, so call 784-9111. 784-9111 for Dozy Place, 422 North 3rd Street, Fort Smith.
Valley Family Dental at the entrance to Riley Farms provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, same-day crowns, and cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Farmer, and now Dr. Blaine Van Nice work to give all of their patients a better life with a better smile. Valley Family Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A at the entrance to Riley Farms. Let them know you heard this on ESPN Radio and receive $300 off a snore guard. Valley Family Dental, 479-226-3500 for an appointment or visit valleyfamilydentalpractice.com.
KERX, Parents Fort Smith.
Hey, we can't make you a morning person, but we can make your morning.
ESPN 95.3.
The wait of this day is massive, and the wait for this day has seemed interminable. But isn't that the way it goes when something means this much? It is Sunday at the Masters.
Chance. Justin Rose at the 72nd. Going to a playoff.
Look at the long shadows. Symbolic at this moment. The journey it's taken to get here. For all this history.
It's over. McIlroy. That's his masterpiece.
I've literally made my dreams come true today.
I gotta go get a green jacket.
This is the Morning Rush.
What an epic conclusion in Augusta, Georgia yesterday. For a Bulldogs fan, it was also an epic conclusion on Sunday's event between the Arkansas Razorback baseball team and their Georgia Bulldogs. We'll get to that in just a bit, but Rory McIlroy takes it. Grand Slam. He gets it done finally after over a decade it's been a while. Gene Saracen, Ben Hogan, Gary Player, Jack Nicklaus, and Tiger Woods are the group he joins for the Grand Slam title of all four majors. Colton, wasn't Jim Nance just ready? He was ready.
Man.
He was ready on 18. He was ready on the playoff hole. He was just ready for Rory McIlroy to win this thing, wasn't he?
Not only was he ready, but once Rory won it, this is why the Masters and the coverage of this tournament is so great. Once that happened, every single person that was broadcasting, they all recognized this is a moment that needs to breathe. No one needs to talk over this. I think it was 6-7 minutes of just watching Rory celebrate and letting that emotion build until they go to commercial and give him time to get ready to give that interview. And I think that it was one of the best, sports broadcasts we'll get to watch this year. It was absolutely fantastic. And then to see that for Rory, that emotion, he's usually calm and collected most of the time on the course, and you knew that whole day it was weighing on his mind. And Rose hits that putt. He's made some mistakes throughout most of the day, to be quite honest with you. And then he just had that one last chance at redemption and to get that monkey off his back. And it was an incredible watch on Sunday afternoon.
We're going to get into some what Rory McIlroy had to say. If you want to jump in here, you can do so on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, 877-377-6963. Here's my initial hot take, brought to you by Wheels RB, as it is a Hot Take Monday. To me, Rory McIlroy winning was the Disney story. Mm-hmm. Captivating. Everyone wanted to see me let it happen, whether it was the group of guys I was with, the majority of the group text I was in, or the overwhelming majority of not just the American public, but across the world wanted him to get it done. To me, Justin Rose, if he would have won, it would have been Sundance. Like, it would have been great. It wouldn't have been as revered. It wouldn't have been as talked about. It would just because he wasn't as big of a deal. He wasn't as big as and Rose is a huge name, and this former number one golfer in the world, and has been to several of these down the wire finishes, not just in Augusta but other majors as well. And yet that was the storybook ending that people wanted. Now, I've seen some people like hold a vendetta against Rory, including Bryson DeChambeau, which was kind of like of all the things, like this happens. And of course, DeChambeau makes it about himself.
Did you speak to him in there? How's he doing? Do you know?
No idea. Didn't talk to me once all day.
Did you try and initiate conversation with Rory at all?
He wouldn't talk to me.
That's because the guy hasn't won a Masters yet, and he's trying to do it. He's not going to be distracted. I don't blame Rory McIlroy one bit for that. But coming back to Rose just for a sec, this is a guy that's older than Rory McIlroy. As much as Rory McIlroy's pains and shortcomings have been talked about over the course in the golf world, Rose has more. Mm-hmm. And yet it was just like those got overlooked, those got passed by just because Rory McIlroy was the bigger name in golf at that moment. And that's the ending that Augusta National wanted. That's the ending CBS wanted. And certainly it was the ending that Jim Nantz wanted. Again, it's a hot take. That's my hot take this morning. Hot Take Monday always brought to you by our friends at Wheels RV. They just had their spring NWA RV show and outdoor party this past weekend in Rogers. I know Chris Lee J and all the guys had a great time out there. They had all these brands like Grand Design, Jayco, Brinkley, Flagstaff, Coachman, Cantilever Vibe, and more. And they are back today, 5 miles west at exit 72 in Springdale. You're going to get all the makes and models that you want. Plus, the new RV comes with a lifetime warranty to help you camp with confidence. Again, they are located 5 miles west off exit 72 in Springdale. Seek, explore, and discover with Wheels RV. I mentioned the other big event in Georgia this weekend, not too far from Augusta, in Athens. Unfortunately, Arkansas baseball comes up just short, and that's where we get going with our opening drive.
Kibler looking to fight back, 3-1. A high fly to center field. He hit it well. Going back is Thomas. Justin at the wall. He leaps. Georgia wins. Georgia wins. Henry Hunter hits a walk-off home run in the bottom of the 12th inning with 2 outs to straightaway center field. The Bulldogs win it 7-6.
Yeah, it was a tough one to lose. You know, we didn't play good at all today, in my opinion. And win or lose, I was going to tell the team that I felt that way. I just don't think we played very well. I thought our at-bats were not as good as normal. Give Georgia's pitchers a little credit.
This is the opening drive.
The key element right there was at the very end from Dave Van Horn, talking about giving Georgia pitchers a little bit of credit because they deserved it. They closed out Arkansas. Arkansas from top to bottom, 1 through 9. That's a tough team to get 27 outs against. And yet, Georgia was able to in games 2 and 3. Razorbacks had a chance to come back in game 2. And they also had a thrilling game 3, unfortunately, and did it on walk-off fashion on the wrong side of things. For this, as I'm watching this game, as I'm consuming the games over the weekend, I'm listening to Phil on the golf course on Saturday and Sunday, and then watching kind of the end of it as well. I found myself doing a very distasteful thing, I thought, and I don't know why. But I found myself looking, rather than talking about 1 through 9 and how they're outstanding in their batting order and having, like, Helfrich's hitting 320. He had 3 home runs this weekend, Colton. Bowles is hitting 364 in the 9 slot. And yet, I'm sitting there listening and watching, looking for weaknesses of the number 1 team in the country. Why am I doing that?
Because you've been hurt. You've been spurned before in dramatic and awful fashion. There's nothing wrong with that. Look, I think that this is not one of those situations where any glass is being broken in case of emergency, but you can be a little bit, disappointed in the fact, just like Dave Van Horn was, that the hitting and the offense that we've been so high on all season didn't show up as much to play in games 2 and 3 in Athens. A very difficult place to win, in general, and especially on the road, but it's not like you walked in there and just got your brains beat in. You were in every single game. And
you lost by one run
both games.
The combination, you won 13-3 in game 1, where those bats you were talking about, you had 13 unanswered runs,
13
and you scored a bunch of them in the 8th and 9th, and then Georgia was able to hold you down a little bit more in games 2 and 3, and yet you only lost, as you said, by 1 run each game. And I don't know why I was doing that over the course of I think it was just dumb. But again, overall, this team has a goal, and it's to be in Omaha, Nebraska. And that's the first SEC series loss. It's the first time they'd lost in a while this past Saturday. Had reeled off 12 straight wins, I guess. Mm-hmm. And yet I'm getting some text after the game, man, we choked it, we blew it. I'm just like, this is not Georgia baseball 10 years ago.
They didn't lose a lead. They didn't lose a lead.
Yeah, it's top 10 opponent, and yet that's where we are. And that's the perfection you demand currently from Arkansas baseball, even though there's not a team in the country that's capable of that. All right, that is your opening drive here this morning. It is brought to you by our friends at Mock Legal Solutions. I know Jackie Submit and their team really excited about the grand opening they just had in Sallisaw across from the courthouse. They want to better serve Sequoia and LaFleur County, and they can handle all the family law, plus wrecks, slip and falls, dog bite cases, and help you with that insurance or wreck check. Times can be tough, so a $5,000 retainer might be too much. Well, they offer flat fees and low down payments and payment plans. Laws have changed, and yes, joint custody may be the default, but they're not afraid to go to trial, and they are successful when they do. MockLegalSolutions.com. Mock Legal Solutions. Real advice, reasonable price. So, Arkansas-wise, that was the biggest story of the weekend. Nationally, the biggest story is what happened in Augusta, Georgia. From a college vantage point, Nico if I could say it, Iamaleava. I said it right 5 times before we came on the show, and of course I butchered it this morning. For those that haven't seen this news that came out over the course of, Thursday, Friday, and over the weekend, the departure from Knoxville. The former, I have to call him the former Tennessee quarterback, not going to be suiting up for Josh Heupel and company. Let's welcome in our buddy Michael Braden, that SEC podcast, the best SEC podcast out there, in my humble opinion. Mike, what's going on in Knoxville, man? In your opinion, why did this play out like it did for Josh Heupel, Nico, and the rest of the Tennessee football program?
Well, Ty, let me just put it this way. I'm glad I never learned how to say his name, because it's not worth saying anymore. You know what?
Oh, man. But little background, Mike is a Tennessee fan, looks at the SEC from an unbiased and objective perspective, and less than occasionally comes to talking about his Tennessee Volunteers. Is this like a DJU? I mean, Nico, I know he was heralded coming out of high school, Mike, but I mean, he lost in Fayetteville last year. He didn't do anything that game. He really didn't do anything for the most of SEC play outside of Vanderbilt. I mean, are we just in another DJU situation where maybe his stars are more than what he actually does on the field?
Well, I wouldn't quite go that far, Todd, because, again, they were really going to put him at the forefront of the offense this year. I mean, as far as Tennessee goes on offense was going to be because of Nico. And I think because of his status being a 5-star, because of the NIL, I think the expectations for him going into his first year last year was just a little too high. And yeah, you could look at the statistics. The statistics were nothing impressive, and everything you said about the Arkansas game is true. I mean, you're the one that last told me, hey, he had a guy wide open there, could have won the game. He ran out of bounds. Yeah. I mean, so I'm not sitting here saying he was some elite quarterback, but he was not as bad as the numbers indicate when you have a top 3 SEC defense and probably the best running back in the conference. You'd be foolish to just be throwing it all over the yard. You know, I mean, they got to the playoffs playing defense and running the football. So that's in large part why his statistics were not as impressive as some of these elite quarterbacks. But at the end of the day, I think his camp thought he was worth more, as we've seen the market for what these players are worth go up.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, he's been paid about $5 million for 2 seasons, one of which he just sat on the bench as a true freshman. I would have looked at it and said, man, we've made $5 million. We're making a killing. I get asking for more, but Tennessee said no in December. And with the spring portal window coming up, I mean, this was a negotiation tactic, and Tennessee called the bluff. And once so for those that don't know, he just completely no-showed on Friday. They had practice before the spring game. No one could get a hold of him. And basically he lost the team at that point. So I think he kind of forced the hand of Josh Heupel, and Heupel decided to move on from him.
So I think as Arkansas fans are maybe hearing this story for the first time, or they're still kind of trying to process what occurred in Knoxville over the weekend. Is this something a fan base like Arkansas, other fan bases across college football can be concerned with? We've seen it happen in the National Football League and NBA and MLB. I mean, is this going to be more prevalent in college football and other college sports, in your opinion, Mike?
Yeah, definitely. And I think Arkansas fans know all too well. I mean, that's, Lane Kiffin will let you know if you didn't. You got some of your guys, and I'm sure I've heard Sam Pittman say, we've had guys that thought they were worth X. We said, you're not worth near as much as that. And if you think you can go get it, because you're not going to get that here. And that's what college sports is now. And we're seeing it not just in football, but of course, basketball, baseball, all the sports really. Even it's filtered down to women's basketball, to where people are they got their hand out, and there's good in that, there's bad in that, but it's complete chaos because there's no rules on leaving. So this was going to happen somewhere. I'm just devastated is too strong a word, but disappointed that it happened on Rocky Top.
I think it's safe to say, Mike, that Madden, Nico's little brother here, is not going to be made for media availability this week based on what happened. I do think that dynamic is interesting, though, as we bring it back to Fayetteville. I mean, I'm going to guess, I don't know this for a fact, but I'm going to guess teammates of his are asking him about it. I don't know if a coach is necessarily doing that same thing, but it's got to be a little weird for Madden here in Fayetteville, doesn't it?
It does. And, I've never seen this. I'm not like reporting this or anything, but I wouldn't, quite frankly, be stunned if old Nico doesn't end up at Arkansas. How about that? Because
you're throwing that out there.
Oh, I'm serious because, everybody highlights this SEC rule where you do have to sit out if you go from an SEC to SEC school at this point in time. He's not going to come in there and try to take – he literally can't take Taylor Green's job, but I think he's tanked his stock in terms of his value. And there's just not a lot of suitors right now because we're so late in the process. Had he done this in December, he would have probably got his $4 million. And he probably would have went to Miami or Oregon or somewhere like that, and he would have got paid. But I honestly, we're seeing, I don't know if you've seen this, but Deion Sanders came out and said, oh, we're good. That was one of the rumored destinations.
Yeah.
I don't know who's taking Nico. And I mean, what better place than to chill with your brother for a year and maybe battle it out for the Arkansas starting job in 2026. So,
Mike, I want to clarify something that you said. In the spring portal, as I understand it, you can't transfer to an SEC school without, as you said, sitting out a year. Is that right? Like if you transfer to an inter-SEC school in the spring, you got to sit out, but outside the SEC, you don't, right? Am I understanding that correctly?
So you have to be in the portal, in the transfer portal by February 1st if you want to go from an SEC school to an SEC school and play immediately. Otherwise, you have to sit out, kind of like the old school transfers.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure. And the portal opens up on Wednesday. We've already seen how crazy the basketball portal's been. I saw a report from 24/7 Sports, Travis Branham, that apparently there's I think it was 8 schools that have $10+ million in basketball NIL. And I don't even want to know what it is for football, but it's crazy. Michael Braden is with us here this morning. SEC Mike is his nickname. That SEC podcast does a fantastic job covering the league. You see him on Feinbaum and definitely see him and Cousin Shane on YouTube and everywhere else. Mike, where does Nico, with the Arkansas thing, what are some other potential destinations? I don't know if the Arkansas thing is more tongue-in-cheek, but where could you actually see him winding up if outside of Knoxville?
Yeah, the 3 kind of most popular rumors would be North Carolina, Bill Belichick. They have a quarterback, Matt Johnson, who used to be at LSU and Texas A&M, but he got hurt, so they're looking for a quarterback. Texas Tech, now if there is, again, Nico seems very motivated by money, and as we all are, but Texas Tech, for those that haven't been paying attention, they have literally billionaire boosters funding the basketball and football programs. If they want to make a splash, they are apparently all in on this season, trying to get to the college football playoff. They have one of the best portal classes in the country because they are spending like there's no tomorrow. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. And then the only other one that I've heard is UCLA. But, of course, his brother Madden was committed and then decommitted. So I don't know how the UCLA staff feels about that family. But I couldn't imagine that that they're fired up to get back into this mess, because it kind of is a mess. With the father is apparently the one that's kind of led all this that happened at Tennessee.
And that was my next question. It seems like that was where I was going to go. Is his dad the one kind of spearheading this? Is he the one that's leading this charge? Not necessarily Nico or his agent, but his dad that's kind of pushing the envelope?
Yeah, and that's another added layer to all this. So he doesn't really have an agent. He's got his dad, and then there's this guy, his name's Cordell Landers, who he worked for Dan Mullen at Florida in the recruiting department and got fired shortly after being there. That's his representation. So you kind of see why this is such a train wreck. He's just got unqualified people managing his status and just thinking he's worth a lot more than he is.
Wow. Well, that's a crazy story that happened over the weekend. I know we were consumed with what was going on with Arkansas baseball. Also, what was happening in Augusta, Georgia. I think Tennessee beat Ole Miss this weekend in baseball, didn't they, Mike?
Yeah, they won the series.
Yeah, they took 2 games. I know you were watching that a little bit. Well, Mike, we appreciate you jumping on with us this morning, man. Good stuff, and I guess we'll see what happens with Tennessee's quarterback situation. It sounds like they're going to try and pluck someone out of the portal, right? Is that my understanding?
Yeah, they have to, because they got a true freshman who's pretty touted, and then they got the other guys thrown 6 passes in his career. So that's what the quarterback room looks like. So I'd say it's a good bet that Arkansas extends the series to 5 over Tennessee. I mean, I've just prepared myself for it.
I'll be there in Knoxville. I can't wait. I hope that's the case in Neyland Stadium early on. I think it's the second weekend of October. Mike, good stuff, man. Appreciate you joining us this morning. I know you got a busy week ahead, so thanks for your time.
Anytime. Thanks for having me, guys.
You got it, buddy. All of our guests join us here on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, including Michael Braden. That SEC podcast does a great job. Well, I don't know. I haven't gotten on the Colton. I'm going to be honest. I haven't gotten on the Bet Saracen app this morning. I'm curious if they end up having landing spots for Nico. Say his last name one more time.
Iamaleava.
Iamaleava. I said it right 10 times this morning. And then, whether it's that or something else, you're always going to find odds of not just Arkansas sporting events, but kind of quirky things from here and there on the Bet Saracen app. You've got MLB, NBA playoffs start this week. So all your lines are on the Bet Saracen app. They also have fun in-game parlays and everything else. You can download it in the Google Play or Apple Store and go to betsaracen.com. Again, all the lines for Arkansas's best sports betting app on the Bet Saracen app. All right, when we return, Hog Update. Going to hear from more reaction from Dave Van Horn on the series loss to Georgia this weekend. Again, you lost by 2 runs. I don't know why you would want to make a mountain out of a molehill against one of the better home teams in college baseball this year. We're also going to talk a little spring practice as we continue on a Hot Take Monday next.
You're listening to The Morning Rush on a Hot Take Monday, presented by Wheels RV. 5 miles west of exit 72 off I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Spring camping season is here. Don't miss the NWA RV Show and Outdoor Party, April 12th and 13th at 5102 West Pauline Whitaker Parkway in Rogers, just behind Newt's. Sponsored by 2 of the state's largest RV dealers, Wheels RV and Moix RV. With brands you love like Grand Design, Jayco, Brinkley, Flagstaff, Coachman, Catalina, Vibe, and Winnebago, and on-site financing available. There will be a variety of vendors and bounce house for the kids and so much more. So make plans now to attend the NWA RV Show and Outdoor Party, April 12th and 13th, 5102 West Pauline Whitaker Parkway, Rogers.
APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group has immediate openings in the Northwest Arkansas area. If you're a licensed CDL driver, heavy equipment operator, electrician, diesel mechanic, have paving or concrete labor experience, or experience in a quarry, apply today at jobs.crh.com. APAC offers top pay, a sign-on bonus, benefits including insurance, retirement, and profit sharing. Apply online today at jobs.crh.com. APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group is an equal opportunity employer.
This is The Morning Rush.
I've never had to wear a helmet to play golf until I met you. It's time for the Wrath Rod Replacement Sale at Wrath Auto Resources. Right now, bring in your old car and get up to $3,750 above the appraised market value for your trade. Take advantage of over $20,000 in recent price reductions on our road-ready certified pre-owned inventory. Inspected and reconditioned in our on-site Meineke Car Care Center and backed by comprehensive warranty. It's the Wrath Rod Replacement Sale all this month at Wrath Auto Resources, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, WrathAutoFortSmith.com.
Hey, Ty Richardson for Jim. They have several locations in the Arkansas area, but I specifically want to talk to you about Jim Mart number 10. Great deli. My goodness. Great lunch, great dinner. But have you had the breakfast yet? It's the best in town. And they have that convenient drive-through window. So when you're heading north or south on 540, take exit number 6 for Jim Mart number 10. 6201 Grand Avenue in Fort Smith. Jim, the leading gas station and convenience store in the area.
Hey, this is Dr. Charlie Liggett at River Valley Smile Center. You may know me as your local dentist, but I'm a giant Hogs, Dolphins, and college baseball fan as well. Listen to me, Phil, and Matt talk about our 3 ups and downs for the weekend every Monday on halftime at 12:15. At River Valley Smile Center, we're a comprehensive dental facility that offers children's dentistry, dental implants, sedation, whitening, and much, much more. Dr. Cole Johnson, Dr. Hannah Cabe, and myself are located at 8309 Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith. River Valley Smile Center. When you come here, you become family.
I'm ignorant when it comes to a lot of topics. Thankfully, I listened to my friend's advice on the housing market and called Jeff Marks at Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. Jeff made the process smoother than Mamaw's gravy.
Ty, you got to throw in some homemade biscuits with that gravy and a great local real estate professional to guide you down the right path. One of the keys is knowing what to do and certainly what not to do.
You communicated and were transparent throughout the process.
Ty, like you, anyone can call me, Jeff Marks, at 479-414-1193. For your big decisions, I have simple solutions.
It's not just the flavors that keep you coming back to the House of Webster. It's a tradition. For over 90 years, our family-owned company has been making jams, jellies, salsas, barbecue sauce, and many more treats that make your meals come to life. From the first jar to the last spoonful, you'll taste the quality in every bite. Please visit our gift shop located at 1013 North 2nd Street, downtown Rogers. We want you to sample the great taste of life. Visit us at houseofwebster.com. House of Webster. See you soon.
Delicious jams and jellies.
Ty Richardson, we're live here at First Financial Mortgage. I'm here with my friend Ethan Adamson. Ethan, I know I probably texted you 100 times during this process, man. I didn't know what I was doing. Luckily, you did.
Yeah, Ty. It was always great working with you. Glad we could help you get closed. A good loan officer is someone who can answer questions after hours, before hours, and be available when you're needed. We get pre-qualifications in, get buyers pre-qualified so they can search for homes and get them closed quick. Call 479-782-9300. Weekdays 8 to 5. FFB1.com. First Financial Mortgage, in the business of you, equal housing lender.
Brothers Roofing and Restoration, a licensed and insured local roofing contractor in Arkansas. Since his playing days for the Hogs, Brother Alexander has been on rooftops, many years as an adjuster, and in the past decade as a roofing contractor. He knows how to help you through the insurance process while replacing your roof using only the industry's best materials. And being a lifelong Arkansan, he'll be here to stand behind his workmanship and warranty. Call 479-353-3877 to arrange a time for Brother and his team to inspect your roof.
Picture it. It's a day like any other. You're stuck in traffic on Rogers Avenue during rush hour. You're just ready to get home and relax with your family. And then, just like that, your life can change in an instant, and you're going to need a lawyer to make it right. I'm Phil Votaw with Phil Votaw & Associates. If this happens to you, call me, 479-434-6200, or online at votawlaw.com. I'm Phil Votaw, and you've never met a lawyer like me.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
There's only one Razorback.
Along the time, he loves the Razorbacks.
Razorback fans, let's stand up and call those.
107 down.
This one belongs to the Razorbacks. Ball's on the ground, picked up by Colin. Alex has got room.
Everybody, Woo Big Philly. This is your Hog Update on the Morning Rush.
Brought to you by Mr. Sparky. Need a licensed electrician to service your home? For one of their local pros, call 888-8-SPARKY.
Now the 2-0 pitch. Hit high and deep by Helfrich to left field. Way back, over the fence, over the trees, into the parking lot. 1-1 on Helfrich. Pitch on the way. There's a drive by Helfrich to left field. Could he have his second of the weekend? Get out of here. Home run, Ryder Helfrich. Helfrich hits the first pitch of the inning deep to left field, and it's his second home run of the day. Ryder Helfrich homered in the 4th inning. He starts the 9th with his 8th, 5-4.
3 home runs for Ryder Helfrich this weekend. He's now hitting .320 on the season. Dave Van Horn after the 3rd game.
Well, he hit 3 home runs, struck out a few times, thought he caught great. That's probably about what I have on him. I thought he had an excellent weekend behind the dish, I'll tell you that. Called a great game and blocked everything, and it's good.
He's batting what, Colton? 8th?
Yeah, he's batting 8th or 9th. It just shows you how strong this team has been all season, top to bottom.
He did lose this week. He lost his series 13-3 in game one. You were down 5-1 in game 2, ended up losing by 1 run, and then also lost by 1 run in game number 3 as well. 7-6 the final in that one, and then also 7-6 on Saturday as well. So unfortunately gave up that walk-off at the tail end of game 3 and extras, which kind of stunk. But again, you battled back and you got to a point in both those games. You almost, honestly, I thought you were going to win game 2, just came up a little bit short. Again, want to reiterate this, and I don't want people to feel like I'm defending a series loss, but it was to a top 10 opponent on their home field, and you lost by a combined 2 runs after beating them by 10 in game 1.
I think that it's. I think Bo mentioned this a little bit early this morning. It's probably a good thing for him. It's a little bit of a taste of reality, a dose of what actually happens in baseball most of the time. And I think that for Razorback fans, we've had that #1 moniker next to our name for a whole season, won every SEC series, and that's kind of you talking about curses a little bit last week. It's probably a good thing to have maybe some of that weight, that pressure off of their shoulders to not have to be so perfect every time out, but. Dave expected more of the team. I know that they expected more of themselves, and it'll be good to get back this week and get their groove back against UAPB. You have a Texas A&M team that struggled coming in this weekend, so hopefully they'll get things turned around and be back where they were.
There was one troubling occurrence that happened over the weekend. Nolan Souza in the shoulder, Dave Van Horn on the Lear. I think this was on the Learfield pregame, if I remember right, talking about good chance, possibility. I'm paraphrasing that he doesn't play again the rest of the season. I don't think we got an update on game 3. If it was in the press conference, I missed it, but I would guess that we're probably going to hear something more matter of fact this week, if not I think the Swatters Clubs today, if not from that, but later on from Dave Van Horn. So that is a bummer that happened for this weekend. Gavin and Fayetteville texting in here on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. Tough series loss yesterday, but for this team, the best hitting team we've had in over a decade, we will be fine. We had Aaron Fitt on last week. I think it was Friday, right? Yeah, Friday at 10:30. And Aaron was like D1 baseball editor-in-chief. This guy knows and follows the game very well. And Aaron was like, and the collective we made so much out of the lack of hitting prowess for Arkansas last year that it hasn't been that case. Now, the hitting for Arkansas has come up short in some games of consequence in the postseason where you feel like that they should have got more runs on base or executed. Like Georgia had 5 errors in game 3, and you weren't able to take advantage of that. Still, nevertheless, back to the Aaron Fitt point, he feels like that people made way too much out of it, that Dave Van Horn over the course of his tenure at Arkansas has had good hitting teams. This is one of the best, if not the best, that he's had in Fayetteville. Continuing on your Hog update, Jalen Williams got another triple-double last couple days.
Jalen with some force in the jam. What a play from Jalen Williams.
So when he's like started or played a significant amount of minutes this season, when the Thunder's rested certain guys, he's ended up with a triple-double pretty much every game. The Oklahoma City Thunder will play a combination of like the Warriors, the Grizzlies, the Kings, or the Mavericks with the new play-in scenario for the NBA playoffs. NBA playoffs start this week. Do you have, Colton? I don't know. Do you have an NBA team?
I do. I've been a Knicks fan for a long time. They're kind of around and Zach Orange as well. All of us. But we kind of they're around the playoffs. To be honest with you, I don't really watch the NBA until around this time anyway, because the playoffs are so long anyway that's kind of when I tend to lock in. But good for Jay Will. That self lob was insane. Like that's not, you don't see that every day in the NBA, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty spectacular what he was able to do. All right, last thing here in your Hog update: the Arkansas softball team got a crazy win over the course of this weekend as they end up winning 5-4. Colton, I'm not seeing the.
I'll put it on.
Okay, we'll play it. No, you're good. We'll play the highlight clip. I might just be missing it, but they end up winning. So they win 2-2, pretty emphatically, like the baseball team did on Friday. They lose 5-4 on Saturday, and then they end up winning 5-4 on Sunday. So congratulations to Courtney Deifel and company beating South Carolina in a big win this weekend. All right, that is your Hog Update this morning, brought to you by our friends at Mr. Sparky.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
By the way, Tommy is off this week. He will be back with us on Monday. He's taking care of some things on the golf course, and then he's also got this the cheer competition, I think in Orlando, if I remember that right. Hey, we had fun on Friday with Sean over at the Fence Man. I know we were talking about a variety of things, but Sean always can help you out with anything fence related. Residential, commercial, chain link, repairs, I know is a big thing for him right now. 479-782-3936. If it involves fencing, Sean can help you. The Fence Man, he ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936. Your Morning Rush Daily Question is next.
It's Hot Take Monday on the Morning Rush. Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Spring camping season is here. Don't miss the NWA RV Show and Outdoor Party, April 12th and 13th at 5102 West Pauline Whitaker Parkway in Rogers, just behind Newt's. Sponsored by 2 of the state's largest RV dealers, Wheels RV and Moix RV. With brands you love like Grand Design, Jayco, Brinkley, Flagstaff, Coachman, Catalina, Vibe, and Winnebago, and on-site financing available. There will be a variety of vendors and bounce house for the kids and so much more. So make plans now to attend the NWA RV Show and Outdoor Party, April 12th and 13th, 5102 West Pauline Whitaker Parkway, Rogers.
Mega Millions now has better odds, bigger prizes, and the highest starting jackpot in America. Top prizes start at $50 million and increase rapidly until someone wins. What else is new? How about no more break-even prizes? Win anywhere from 2 to 10 times your bet. And the multiplier? It's no longer an add-on. Mega Millions is always $5 per play, bells and whistles included. Play today in stores or on the go. Call or text 1-800-522-4700 for problem gambling helpline.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Smiles and glory holes.
This is the Morning Rush.
It's time for the Rath Rod Replacement Sale at Rath Auto Resources. Right now, bring in your old car and get $3,750 above appraised market value for your trade. Take advantage of over $20,000 in recent price reductions on our road-ready certified pre-owned inventory. Inspected and reconditioned in our on-site Meineke Car Care Center and backed by comprehensive warranty. It's the Rath Rod Replacement Sale all this month at Rath Auto Resources, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, rathautofortsmith.com.
Dozy Place has now been serving award-winning steaks for over 20 years. Celebrate your special birthday, holiday, person, or just because at Dozy Place. Start with delicious appetizers and your choice of drinks from the largest selection of wines, beer, and liquor in the River Valley. Dozy Place is open Tuesday through Thursday 5 till 9 and Friday and Saturday 5 till 10. Reservations are recommended, so call 784-9111. 784-9111 for Dozy Place, 422 North 3rd Street, Fort Smith.
Ignorant when it comes to a lot of topics. Thankfully, I listened to my friend's advice on the housing market and called Jeff Marks at Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. Jeff made the process smoother than Mama's gravy.
Ty, you got to throw in some homemade biscuits with that gravy and a great local real estate professional to guide you down the right path. One of the keys is knowing what to do and certainly what not to do.
You communicated and were transparent throughout the process.
Ty, like you, anyone can call me, Jeff Marks, at 479-414-1193. For your big decisions, I have simple solutions.
World-class trout fishing is the star of the show at Gaston's White River Resort, where a few days away from all the worries and stress will make all right in your world. Gaston's has friendly, experienced guides to help you land your limit. Enjoy your stay at Gaston's in one of their private cottages, or reserve a lodge for up to 20 people. Call now and let Gaston's help you plan your next getaway on the White River. 870-431-5202. That's 870-431-5202. Or learn more at Gastons.com. Gaston's, a first-class time, every time.
Ty Richardson, we're live here at First Financial Mortgage. I'm here with my friend Ethan Adamson. Ethan, I know I probably texted you 100 times during this process, man. I didn't know what I was doing. Luckily, you did.
Yeah, Ty. It was always great working with you. Glad we could help you get closed. A good loan officer is someone who can answer questions after hours, before hours, and be available when you're needed. We get pre-qualifications in, get buyers pre-qualified so they can search for homes and get them closed quick. Call 479-782-9300. Weekdays 8 to 5. FFB1.com. First Financial Mortgage, in the business of you, equal housing lender.
Brothers Roofing and Restoration, a licensed and insured local roofing contractor in Arkansas. Since his playing days for the Hogs, Brother Alexander has been on rooftops, many years as an adjuster, and in the past decade as a roofing contractor. He knows how to help you through the insurance process while replacing your roof using only the industry's best materials. And being a lifelong Arkansan, he'll be here to stand behind his workmanship and warranty. Call 479-353-3877 to arrange a time for Brother and his team to inspect your roof.
Basketballs bounce, cheerleaders cheer, and fans are flocking to the paint store in Van Buren. The paint store in Van Buren is known for their color matching. The paint store in Van Buren is known for their help with color selection. The paint store in Van Buren shares their expert advice from 35 years of experience. If you haven't been to the paint store in Van Buren, you are missing out. How about you give them a shout next time you need some real-life help you can't get on YouTube?
Hey, Ty Richardson at my favorite place, Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, 508 Garrison Avenue. And Cricket, we always talk about specials. Wednesday, ladies' night. I know you love Wednesdays here.
I love my Wednesdays. All the ladies come out. We have $5.99 small cheesy bread. We have pink panty droppers on special. We've got blow bombs on special. And it's all about ladies on a Wednesday here at Papa.
Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, the best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world. Cricket, what do you think about Papa's Pub and Pizzeria?
I think it's the best darn pizza in Fort Smith and perhaps the world.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Social Morning Rush Daily Question.
All right, you men. I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to answer to the best of your ability.
It's going to be a quick answer to an incredibly terrible, long question.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Check out Nate and Kristen's Place in Lowell online at CarPathSocial.com.
All right, real quick before we get into our Morning Rush Daily Question brought to you by CarPath Social. Cole, we do need to clarify. I got a text, and I don't know what poll Cody follows, but he texted in on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. Dang, Arkansas dropped 4 spots after losing 2 games by 1 run each. That might be in Baseball America or another poll, but currently on D1 Baseball, Arkansas is
second. They just flip-flop with Texas.
Yes. So I guess if you really want to look at this glass half full perspective on this Monday morning, Hot Take Monday brought to you by Will's RV, maybe this is a hot take. Maybe you'd rather Texas be 1 when they come into Fayetteville here in 2.5 weeks, and you could say you could beat the #1 team in the country rather than you be #1.
I just don't. That #1 moniker, like you talked about it last week, and we kind of were like, oh, curses aren't real. I don't want it. I don't want it at all because I believe in that curse. And I just think
you
that.
didn't help me out when Tommy was gone.
Well, when he's here, I don't have the seasoned veteran to stand up for myself, Ty. Give me a break. But I do. I'm with you, Ty. I think that it's not a big deal if they flip-flop. There's no cause for concern. Just hit better.
Well, I think Tommy's probably a little bummed he doesn't get to talk about the Masters and what ended up happening over the weekend. I don't really know if he was going for Rory or not. I don't know if he had money or not, but it was a pretty crazy conclusion. We'll also share what the first Masters Invitational went like for Cart Pass Social coming up. But our Cart Pass Social Morning Rush Daily Question centers around this.
Texas, beautiful, lovely Texas.
Anyone watch Robin Hood back in the day? Now, it was Richard the Lionhearted. That's Prince What's-His-Face or King what? Who was the?
That's King John, I believe.
King John.
Yeah.
Okay, that got. I'm pretty sure he got wrongfully blamed for having to raise taxes for Richard's Ward. It's been a while since I've most opened a history book. I know that probably surprises some of you. But our Morning Rush Daily question, and you can jump in here with us this morning. Have you done your taxes? I have not. My accountant is filing for an extension today. Now, I messaged him 2 months ago or a month ago. He does all, like anytime his extensions, he does all of his extensions on one day. So I have not completed mine, Colton. They are sitting out.
Too much money to count or what?
No, we have a farm outside of Morrilton, Arkansas, in Hattieville, and the K1. I'm about to get into waters I just have no idea about. Comes late, and so it's not here by the 15th most of the time. But it actually got sent earlier this year by my uncle, and so we have to put that into the tax returns. And so that's why I usually have to file an extension for late, but he actually came. But my tax stuff is sitting on my kitchen table, or my dining room table, I should say, as stuff to do. Everything's stuff to do wise around the house is just sitting on my dining room table, so I have to pass it each and every done. So I have not filed or completed mine. Have you finished yours? As our listeners, have you finished yours? If you forgot tomorrow's, I guess, the last day that you have to have them filed by, have you completed it?
So when you talk about whatever you just said, K1s and W4s and all that stuff, that sounds like when the dentist is counting your teeth. I have no idea what any of it means for the most part. I know how to write my name into the tax statements, and my wife takes care of all of that. So it has been done. It got done a couple of weeks ago, and I say all that to say this: I screwed that up somewhere along the line, and I think I claimed 1 instead of 0, or vice versa, and somehow I ended up having to pay the government a lot of money this time around, but hopefully I'll get it back later on. I'm really not exactly sure how all that stuff works. I feel like you might be the person to teach me that, Ty.
I am not the one. I've got plenty of other friends that have gone into accountants and worked for a Big Four or whatever, and they are far more knowledgeable on that area of expertise than when it comes to I am. But hopefully, if you haven't completed it, you filed for an extension, because again, that is fastly approaching with it being.
Is it tomorrow or tomorrow, right? That's tax day?
I think it's the 15th. It's the 15th.
Tomorrow
right?
is the 15th,
okay.
I believe.
So that's what I just wanted to make sure on that. So, again, that's your Cart Pass Social Morning Rush Daily question. We've been talking a lot of the Masters so far this morning, and rightfully so after just how it finished out. I want to congratulate Matt Dura, Bryce McKinney, and Case Smith. Matt finished first, Bryce in second, Case in third for the first ever Masters Invitational in Lowell. Now, if you haven't been to Cart Pass Social, 122 Grant Place in Lowell, for my money, it's the best indoor golf facility in all of Arkansas. 2 Rogers guys, own and operate it, working it daily. Christian Olson, Nate Garahan. Really smart dudes, love to play golf, and just good old boys that I've known for nearly a decade at my time at Arkansas. And they put together a place where you can play one of over 1,000 different golf courses, including Augusta National. And it's a bargain, too. I mean, you're not paying per person, you're paying per bay. So if you want to take in the best indoor golf in all of Arkansas, go online to cartpasssocial.com or give them a call at 479-487-3622. Cart Pass Social, always BYOB at Cart Path Social. All right, back to baseball, because we're getting some text here on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline after Arkansas drops the series to Georgia. Bailey from Mountain Home texting in. We swung it pretty well all weekend. The reality is Gackle has just not had it as a starter this year. We've got to find our game 2 guy. I do wonder when Gage Wood comes back, because I've seen that similar text in other baseball interactions that I've had with Morning Rush listeners that potentially got, and it's been because Gackle was expected to be the alpha, the A-dog of the center. Does he change roles? Because if you remember last year, he was a pen and a closer guy and really found a role as a true freshman. He's a California kid that came on strong. What is that dynamic? What do Matt Hobbs and Dave Van Horn, as they tinker throughout the season, do they continue to tinker with the pitching rotation? Like, for example, you might have to help me on this. I think it was Gackle, Beidelshees, Root, and then Wood to start the season. I might have to go back and double check that. But Root's now kind of taking on
he is your ace. Yeah.
He's the ace, and he continues to have success. 5 2/3. I think on Friday night. So
2 big strikeouts to get out of a jam right there.
Yeah.
Really, it's huge.
And he's a guy that you've really, really enjoyed. Gave up 5 hits, 3 earned runs, but I think with Zach Root, former Eastern Carolina, I guess Pirate, you've really liked what you've seen from him lately, and I just wonder what that dynamic, if anything, changes when Gage Wood comes back.
Yeah, and we talked about this last week. We have Tommy mentioned it. We've been so, and you mentioned it too, Ty. We've been so spoiled with our pitching. Just got these guys that have just been so dominant. I mean, starting from when this run really began to take place. Blaine Knight, Zayday. Then you have guys like Kevin Kopps and Hagen Smith. Just absolute
Connor Nolan.
Yeah, Connor Nolan. Yep. Just guys that are just absolutely dominant pitchers. That you say, hey, give me 7 innings, and you don't bat an eye on it because you know that they can do it. And there's kind of an absence of that this year. But to your point, we do like Root. He shows that fire. He gets out of innings. He does his job. But I think that near the end of the season, the word that you used right there, tinker, that's what they're going to have to do. It may end up being that they're going to have to start that 3rd game just by committee to say who's hot, give me 3 or 4, then we'll finish it through the pen from there. But I don't think that that's necessarily a weakness for this Razorback team. They do have really good pitchers in the bullpen. Jimenez has been really good coming out in relief in
That's
certain
who Gavin
situations.
Fayetteville thinks should be.
And honestly,
I was
last night. I was watching this game on Sunday afternoon. I felt really bad for Gibler because I think he's got great stuff, and they brought him in to be a closer in that situation. Thought that was going to be a big moment for him, but it didn't get it done. But he's still somebody they can trust. They have arms. I just think they're going to have to, like you said, Ty, tinker and play around with it a little bit near that 3rd game.
And Gibler is a true freshman, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure I was correct on that. Hey, what is your hot take this Monday morning? Maybe it's on what happened in Augusta. Maybe it was what happened in Athens, Georgia. Maybe it's this Nico stuff. Jump in here this morning on Hot Take Monday. I know that Chris Leach and their entire team had a great time at the NWA RV Show and Outdoor Party this past weekend. Well, they are back at Wheels RV, 5 miles west off exit 72 in Springdale, so you can stop in and see why Wheels RV has been voted the best RV dealer year after year. Grand Design, Forest River products, the Brinkley Model Z, they have it all at Wheels RV. Plus, they come with a lifetime warranty every new RV, so you can camp with confidence. Wheels RV, seek, explore, and discover with Wheels RV. So we got Michael Braden's take earlier in the morning. We'll play a cut or two from that later on in hour number 2. Guy that covers the SEC, Tennessee fan. What did Josh Heupel think about what's going on? Maybe you're just hearing this for the first time. I think that a good chunk of you are aware that Nico Ilamaliava has now left the Tennessee program and is going to be looking for his next destination. The kid that you beat last year in Fayetteville, Arkansas. You were going to play him in Knoxville in October this year. Doesn't look like that's going to happen. Here's Tennessee head coach Josh Heupel on the departure.
Today's landscape of college football is different than what it has been. It's unfortunate, just the situation and where we're at with Nico. I want to thank him for everything that he's done since he's gotten here. Obviously, we're moving forward as a program without him. I said it to the guys today. There's no one that's bigger than the Power T, and that includes me.
TC texting in the show. Just like a house, market values only as high as someone is willing to play. With Nico, someone else will determine its value. Tennessee has already made theirs known. Robert and Bullshills, he got his butt fired, is how he describes it this morning. I got to be honest, Nico, while he may have taken on a larger role, and I realize that quarterbacks, again, continue to expand, continue to get better throughout their careers, I don't know if he's going to be worth the hype.
Nope.
I think a very good comparison him is DJU. And Mike maybe didn't like that comparison. Craig and Deere, Bruce Stan may not like that comparison, our residential Tennessee fans, but I just didn't see it. He had he's got a cannon, he's got the swagger, he's got everything you want in a quarterback.
Good receivers.
Good receivers. I mean, Heupel's not pulling out scrubs on the outside, and it just didn't work out for him. I felt like Tennessee won in spite of him last year.
Well, Mike mentioned it. They had one of the best rushing attacks all season long. They were one of the best in the country.
correct.
And I want to
Really good defense.
I'm going to take time to thank Tennessee for establishing this precedent, not to let, the guy wearing Cookie Monster pants all the time fleece you for an extra $4 million. Good for you. I hope everybody else around college football is taking notice.
You set the tone. Hey, we're brought to you this morning by the Arkansas State Police Highway Safety Office. They want to make sure that if you're driving, not texting, not scrolling through social media. Listen to this. Between 2011 and 2020, more than 32,000 Americans lost their lives in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. And the problem, unfortunately, is it's getting worse. So what can you do? Well, put your phone away. Make sure you're not texting and driving. If you just can't wait, pull over, park, and use your device safely. No excuse for putting other people's lives at risk with distracted driving. Remember this. In Arkansas, put the phone away or pay. It's paid for by the Arkansas State Police Highway Safety Office. Hour number 2 coming up here on a Hot Take Monday.
Mega Millions now has better odds, bigger prizes, and the highest starting jackpot in America. Top prizes start at $50 million and increase rapidly until someone wins. What else is new? How about no more break-even prizes? Win anywhere from 2 to 10 times your bet. And the multiplier? It's no longer an add-on. Mega Millions is always $5 per play, bells and whistles included. Play today in stores or on the go. Call or text 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Spring camping season is here. Don't miss the NWA RV Show and Outdoor Party, April 12th and 13th at 5102 West Pauline Whitaker Parkway in Rogers, just behind Newt's. Sponsored by 2 of the state's largest RV dealers, Wheels RV and Moix RV. With brands you love like Grand Design, Jayco, Brinkley, Flagstaff, Coachman, Catalina, Vibe, and Winnebago, and on-site financing available. There will be a variety of vendors and bounce house for the kids and so much more. So make plans now to attend the NWA RV Show and Outdoor Party, April 12th and 13th, 5102 West Pauline Whitaker Parkway, Rogers.
APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group has immediate openings in the Northwest Arkansas area. If you're a licensed CDL driver, heavy equipment operator, electrician, diesel mechanic, have paving or concrete labor experience, or experience in a quarry, apply today at jobs.crh.com. APAC offers top pay, a sign-on bonus, benefits including insurance, retirement, and profit sharing. Apply online today at jobs.crh.com. APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group is an equal opportunity employer.
This is the Morning Rush.
Join us for the legendary adventure Mystery at the Forest on Saturday, April 26th. Heart to Heart Pregnancy and Family Care Center invites you to share this magical evening of excitement, mystery, and fun. If you are a business or individual looking to sponsor a heartfelt organization or to buy tickets, please text H2H Mystery to 44834 or call us at 479-452-2260. Heart to Heart's Mystery at the Forest, April 26th.
The Golf Nut is thrilled to introduce new products for 2025, including Cobra Dark Speed Adapt Woods and Irons, Ping G440 Woods and Irons, and TaylorMade QI35 Woods. Lap putters, including the latest OZ model, are also available. Whether you want to improve your swing or enjoy the game, the Golf Nut offers a range of options. Book a lesson or fitting on one of our indoor simulators and experience golfing greatness. Visit the Golf Nut at 5121 Towson Avenue for your ultimate golfing destination.
Bush Guide, cold and smooth survival skills. For a successful stint in the great outdoors, pack accordingly. Place heavy essentials near your spine for stability in rough terrain, with light items near the bottom. Now, you may be wondering, where does the Bush Light go? In your stomach. Head for the mountains. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2023, Anheuser-Busch, Bush Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Basketballs bounce, cheerleaders cheer, and fans are flocking to the paint store in Van Buren. The Paint Store in Van Buren is known for their color matching. The Paint Store in Van Buren is known for their help with color selection. The Paint Store in Van Buren shares their expert advice from 35 years of experience. If you haven't been to the Paint Store in Van Buren, you are missing out. How about you give them a shout next time you need some real-life help you can't get on YouTube?
Hey, Ty Richardson at my favorite place, Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, 508 Garrison Avenue. And Cricket, we always talk about specials. Wednesday, ladies' night. I know you love Wednesdays here.
I love my Wednesdays. All the ladies come out. We have $5.99 small cheesy bread. We have pink panty droppers on special. We've got blow bombs on special. And it's all about ladies on a Wednesday here at Papa.
Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, the best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world. Cricket, what do you think about Papa's Pub and Pizzeria?
I think it's the best darn pizza in Fort Smith and perhaps the world.
World-class trout fishing is the star of the show at Gaston's White River Resort, where a few days away from all the worries and stress will make all right in your world. Gaston's has friendly, experienced guides to help you land your limit. Enjoy your stay at Gaston's in one of their private cottages, or reserve a lodge for up to 20 people. Call now and let Gaston's help you plan your next getaway on the White River. 870-431-5202. That's 870-431-5202. Or learn more at Gastons.com. Gaston's, a first-class time, every time.
I'm ignorant when it comes to a lot of topics. Thankfully, I listened to my friend's advice on the housing market and called Jeff Marks at Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. Jeff made the process smoother than Mama's gravy.
Ty, you got to throw in some homemade biscuits with that gravy and a great local real estate professional to guide you down the right path. One of the keys is knowing what to do and certainly what not to do.
You communicated and were transparent throughout the process.
Ty, like you, anyone can call me, Jeff Marks, at 479-414-1193. For your big decisions, I have simple solutions.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, we will see a gradual increase in the sunshine, low 70s north, low 80s south. We will see a decrease in the cloud cover tonight. Overnight lows will drop down mid-40s north, low 50s south. And then sunshine Tuesday, high temperatures in the mid-60s north, low 70s south. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Shamrock Liquor Warehouse, 5609 Midland Boulevard, your leader in fine wines, beers, and spirits. You're listening to The Morning Rush on ESPN 95.3, KERX Paris, Fort Smith.
Don't touch my beef jerky now.
The wait of this day is massive, and the wait for this day has seemed interminable. But isn't that the way it goes when something means this much? It is Sunday at the Masters.
Justin Rose at the 77th. Going to a playoff. Look at the long shadows. Symbolic this moment. The journey it's taken to get here. For all this history. It's over. That's his masterpiece.
I've literally made my dreams come true today.
I gotta go get a green jacket.
This is The Morning Rush.
All right, I'm just going to come out and say it. I wanted Justin Rose to win yesterday. I really did.
No.
He's been around. He's been around longer. I know that it's made out that Rory's gone through the gauntlet of personal things over the years, which he has. Come up close, come up short. Rose has actually gone through more if you want to look at it, especially in Augusta. So that's my hot take this morning. I'm not one of them. I was getting texts from over the weekend. You were either 100% with Rory or you didn't like him for the text. And there was a few texts that didn't like him, but the overwhelming majority, the public, wanted him to win yesterday. And they got what they wanted, but I didn't get what I wanted. That's my hot take. As we get going in hour number 2, Hot Take Monday, we're going to talk with Doug Bell coming up at 10:30. Doug covers the PGA on PGA Tour Radio, CBS Sports. He's an old SEC reporter, really good at what he does. We'll get his kind of thoughts, his vantage point on that. But you're obviously against my thought on Hot Take Monday, right, Colton?
Well, I fell for all the propaganda. Like you said, everybody wanted Rory to win. That was what I thought the whole weekend, sort of the camera shots and everything, the Masters, Jim Nantz, they all wanted Rory to win, and I did too. my hot take was I didn't want to see Justin Rose up there. I wish that Bryson wouldn't have gotten so hurt about Rory not talking to him that he would have been able to finish, and it would have been them in the playoff because he's much more fun to watch and better for the game of golf than Justin Rose. Rory winning yesterday was the best thing that could have happened for the Masters, in my opinion.
Yeah, and the ratings are going to turn out great just because not only was it a playoff hole, but I mean, Scheffler got hot, Patrick Reed got hot. You know how sometimes like one guy just separates himself down the stretch? That wasn't necessarily the case on Saturday. Rory just kind of was at a standstill for Rose. I mean, you think about what Justin Rose did in yesterday at 66.
Got a chance. Justin Rose at the 72nd.
Just to put himself in contention to force a playoff hole after Rory bogeyed.
Going to a playoff.
Jim Nantz set it up, and announcers jinx, whatever you want to call it.
Whenever that did happen, I thought, oh, man, this is going to be brutal. I thought that was it for Rory, but, I mean, he came through in spite of some – I think on the 18th or 17th, he hit one 25 yards right of where he was going into the river, and it was bad. He had to take a drop, lose a stroke, and it was really bad. But earlier that day, he had a miracle shot on 7 through the trees. Like, it's just one of those days that – culminated in Rory, like you said, Ty, just holding him at bay and finishing strong.
4 double bogeys, I think, over the course of the weekend, and yet he is your 2025 Masters champion. That's where we begin here. Hour number 2, Hot Take Monday, brought to you by Wheels RV. I know they had a great time at the NWA RV show and outdoor party this weekend in Rogers. I'd love to see you back in 5 miles west off exit 72 in Springdale. They've got the Brinkley RVs. They've got Grand Design, Forest River products. And with Chris Lee J and Wheels RV, you're always going to get a lifetime warranty with every new RV. That helps you camp with confidence. Stop in and see why they're voted the best RV dealer year after year. Seek, explore, and discover with Wheels RV. Rory after his win.
I probably didn't understand myself. I didn't understand why I got myself in a great position in 2011, and I probably didn't understand why I let it slip in a way. But I think just having a little more self-reflection, that experience going through the hardships of tough losses and all that. I would, and I would say to him, just stay the course, just keep believing. And I would say that to any young boy or girl that's listening to this, or I've literally made my dreams come true today, and I would say to every boy and girl listening to this that believe in your dreams, and if you work hard enough and you put the effort in, that you can achieve anything you want.
I wish, to be honest, that there was an American, and I know Scheffler's there. No one likes Patrick Reed, but I wish there was an American, because at the tail end. I mean, you had 2 guys not from the States, and I don't necessarily get into that all the time when it comes to that, but I do find that dynamic interesting when it comes to golfing events here in our home soil and everything else. We're getting some text here on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, like Cody and Lavaca saying, I wanted Bryson to take another major from Rory. It looked like initially that might happen, and then Bryson fell off at the end. Gavin and Fayetteville wanted Rory to win as well. There's Rose to win. I apologize. Wanted Rose to win as well. There's not many things in life I enjoy more than seeing a Rory McIlroy choke. Oh man, let's see. It was a story beginning. The comparison I've made this morning, it's like Rory McIlroy's Disney, Justin Rose's Sundance. Like, you can have quality in both films, but Disney is made more for the entire public. Sundance, not, again, I don't want to belittle Justin Rose's career and what he's accomplished over the course of his life, because it's way more than me, but it's not as, he's not as big of a deal as Rory McIlroy. And you heard, I mean, you had the crowd chanting Rory, Rory, like the entire time. And I would think, like, if I'm Rose, if I win, I kind of want to stick it to him a little bit. By the way, did you see Jordan Spieth,
Oh, he tapped that dude. He gave him a little rack.
With his putter in. I guess he didn't like that guy. I don't know. I don't know what the backstory on that is, but that was not incidental.
It was not incidental. I saw that wrist twitch. He knew what he was doing. Expertly pulled it off, by the way. Someone that's done that a lot of times. So that was really tough to watch.
Yeah, that was funny. All right, so that's that's golf-wise. Touch on some baseball a little bit as we continue on in just a sec. Hey, we're brought to you by Burton Pools and Spas. Their 47th anniversary is going on right now through the end of April. You're going to get up to $1,250 off above ground pools and up to $2,300 off semi in-ground pools. Doughboys are the most durable. They have the best warranty in the USA. Hot Springs is the #1 selling hot tub, starting at just $134 a month. And grab these amazing deals and more during the Burton Pools and Spas 47th anniversary sale, going on now through the end of April. Ask our sales team about the Aruba fiberglass pool or the Corinthian. Hurry in for these exclusive anniversary sale savings. Burton Pools and Spas in Fort Smith, Greenland, and in Springdale. Water for the better life. BurtonPools.com. So baseball this weekend didn't go how you wanted it at the tail end. But I'll tell you what, game number 1, you got it going in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning for this Arkansas baseball team.
Aloy lines it into left field, drops, base hit. They'll try to score Iredale. The throw coming through all the way to the plate, dives in safely, way ahead of the throw. Aloy crushed it. There it goes into left field, over the trees, out of here. Punched it towards right center field. Trouble. Burnett's on the run. It's over his head, bounces over the fence. A high chopper over the mound into center field. Base hit for Kozel, knocks in their 10th run. Aloy punches another base hit right center field with a soft line drive. Swung on, driven through the left side, a base hit, their 3rd in a row.
We could keep going, but 13 unanswered runs for this Arkansas baseball team. We win game 1 13-3, and then lose Saturday and Sunday, both by deficits of 7-6. So the Razorbacks don't get a series win. You drop one spot in the D1 baseball poll. Dave Van Horn, again, had some things to say after game 3. Here's what he said about just like, you got a lot of hits in game 1. You got some hits, but you left a lot of guys on base, especially in game number 3. Here, when asked about a change he would make, here's what DVH had to say.
Well, the change needs to be we need to drive people in. I mean, you can't just change. You have to do a better job of driving people in. I mean, today we had guys out there. We ended up with 8 stranded. They had 3. They made 3 errors and had 2 catchers interference. So it says 5 errors. We had 1 on a pickoff, and that ended up costing us a run. You know, when they got on, they scored. They had some home runs. Yeah, the change needs to be we need to drive people in. A lot easier said than done. And our hitters done a good job with it for most of the year. They didn't do a very good job the last 2 days. So maybe you just give Georgia's pitchers a little credit.
And that hasn't, as you heard Dave Van Horn say, been necessarily a huge struggle of the team this season, being that you're one of the most offensively potent teams in all of college baseball. But Colton, unfortunately, it came back to bite you this weekend in games 2 and 3.
Yeah, and all the guys they've grabbed and nabbed out of the transfer portal that are, stepped up and made big impacts on this offensive lineup this year, they were all sort of chosen. They were all because they get on base and because they're able to score runs. And so they're also able to knock people in and get RBIs. So throughout most of the season, we've seen that be the case. They haven't been leaving runners on base, here at every single game, but unfortunately this weekend you just did that, and I think that they'll be able to come back to Fayetteville this next weekend, recuperate a little bit, and get things going. But it's not going to get any easier. And to be honest with you, looking at the rest of our schedule, I'm going to say that Georgia probably has the weakest pitching out of anybody left on our schedule or that we've played so far. Now, I know Coach Van Horn gave them credit, but Texas, LSU, Tennessee, those guys are going to have a lot better starting pitchers than Georgia probably had. That's not how Georgia's team was built. So we're going to have to continue to stay the course and knock those runs in like we've done all season long, or Coach Van Horn's going to be saying the same things until the season's over.
Texas has one of the best pitching staffs in college baseball, and you find yourself one spot behind them in the D1 baseball poll this morning. I don't know how you took in games this weekend. On Sunday, I was watching both the Masters and the baseball game right next to each other. But for a good chunk of Saturday and then some of Sunday, I was listening to it on the Hit That Line Now app, powered by Taco Bell. Whether it's Phil Elson, who did solo this weekend, Bubba will be back with him, of course, at Baum Walker Stadium, or Chuck and Bo, the Morning Rush, Halftime, Ruskin and Zach. You can always listen to all of our programming on the Hit That Line Now app, powered by Taco Bell. On the subject of polls, Eddie Atkins texted in about the Arkansas softball team, who got a big victory against South Carolina this weekend, Game 3 ending in dramatic fashion.
Heron ready. Here comes the payoff.
rocketed back to the mound again. But a double play to win the game and win the series. Rowdy hit another bullet that Herod speared. Self-preservation and ball game in one fell swoop.
So Eddie texting in, softball is 5th in one of the polls as he looks up this morning. That sequence that you just heard from Brett Dolan. So Arkansas wins game 1, 10-2 in softball at Bogle Park. Game 2, tough loss, 5-4. And then you end up winning game 3, 5-4. So kind of funny, Colton. And you had like a kind of a blowout win in the baseball game and softball games in game 1, and then both of the next 2 games for each team ended up with the same scores, except Arkansas was able to win in softball in game number 3. But you heard Brett's call there. Robin Herron caught that ball, line back to her, and then made that double play. Pretty crazy way to end not just the game, but the series for this Arkansas softball team.
Well, I'll give credit to this softball team. A lot of the talk around the country and around, people that have been fans of the team is just how good Bree Ellis and this offense has been with all their great powered bats. Robin Herron and, that defense behind her, they have been really good all year, and she's a really good starting pitcher. So props to them. Coach Stiefel has got that program to the highest it's ever been, and they are really, really fun to watch. So props to them.
A big weekend for sports-wise. NBA playoffs begin this week. I know I'm excited to see where the Oklahoma City Thunder end up as they'll take on. There's like 4 different teams that they could play between the Golden State Warriors, the Memphis Grizzlies, the Dallas Mavericks, and I'm forgetting the other team and everything else. But you've got a good sports, not just this weekend, but ahead this week. We'll give you some more updates from SEC baseball coming up here in your SEC update. And again, Doug Bell is going to join us at the bottom of the hour in about 15 minutes. We're brought to you this morning by our friends at Farm Credit. It's time to spruce up your existing home, or maybe you want to build a brand new one. You can trust the experts at Farm Credit of Western Arkansas to help you choose the financing option that's best for you. Visit myaglender.com. That's myaglender.com. Or you can drop by one of 25 locations of Farm Credit of Western Arkansas today and get started on building family memories. What else happened in the Southeastern Conference this weekend? What's going on with Nico and where he could end up? Tennessee football program. Your thoughts on that? All that's coming up here on a Hot Take Monday.
You're listening to the Morning Rush on a Hot Take Monday, presented by Wheels RV. 5 miles west of exit 72 off I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Spring camping season is here. Don't miss the NWA RV Show and Outdoor Party, April 12th and 13th at 5102 West Pauline Whitaker Parkway in Rogers, just behind Newt's. Sponsored by 2 of the state's largest RV dealers, Wheels RV and Moix RV. With brands you love like Grand Design, Jayco, Brinkley, Flagstaff, Coachman, Catalina, Vibe, and Winnebago, and on-site financing available. There will be a variety of vendors and bounce house for the kids and so much more. So make plans now to attend the NWA RV Show and Outdoor Party, April 12th and 13th, 5102 West Pauline Whitaker Parkway, Rogers.
Well, I'm drinking. There ain't much else going on.
This is the Morning Rush.
Here's some exciting news for golf enthusiasts. The Golf Nut is thrilled to announce new arrivals for 2025, including Callaway Elite Woods and Irons, the new generation Pro V1 and Pro V1X golf balls, as well as a full range of lab putters, including the latest OZ model. Schedule a lesson or fitting on one of our indoor simulators to elevate your game. Visit the Golf Nut at 5121 Towson Avenue and experience golfing greatness for over 30 years.
Save up to $5,000 on select Buick Envisions at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The Buick Envision showcases inspired design with exclusive features in this 5-passenger SUV. Or drive the brand new Buick Envista, a stylish crossover, for as low as $399 per month. These are limited time offers. Experience the new Buick at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith, or online at harryrobinson.com.
Ignorant when it comes to a lot of topics. Thankfully, I listened to my friend's advice on the housing market and called Jeff Marks at Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. Jeff made the process smoother than Mamaw's gravy.
Ty, you got to throw in some homemade biscuits with that gravy and a great local real estate professional to guide you down the right path. One of the keys is knowing what to do and certainly what not to do.
You communicated and were transparent throughout the process.
Ty, like you, anyone can call me, Jeff Marks, at 479-414-1193. For your big decisions, I have simple solutions.
locations.
When your carpets, upholstery, and floors look dirty and stained, call your local Service Master Clean at 646-4087. Service Master Clean is an industry leader and can remove the toughest stains from your home or office. And they back their work with a satisfaction guarantee. Eliminate dirt and grime from your carpet, hardwood, tile, and laminate floors. Call your local Service Master Clean, 479-646-4087. That's 646-4087 or online at servicemasterpc.com.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Weekday stays starting at $169 a night at Big Cypress Lodge inside the Memphis Pyramid. Take advantage of discounted stays from January 2nd to March 6th. Enjoy on-demand shuttle service, complimentary tickets to the Sky High Ride, plus rooms overlooking Bass Pro Shops and the Cypress Swamp. Book your stay today for weekday stays, January 2nd to March 6th, starting at $169 a night at Big Cypress Lodge inside the Memphis Pyramid. Based on availability, not valid on current reservations. Prices do not include tax and resort fee.
Mega Millions now has better odds, bigger prizes, and the highest starting jackpot in America. Top prizes start at $50 million and increase rapidly until someone wins. What else is new? How about no more break-even prizes? Win anywhere from 2 to 10 times your bet. And the multiplier? It's no longer an add-on. Mega Millions is always $5 per play, bells and whistles included. Play today in stores or on the go. Call or text 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
It's time for the Rath Ride Replacement Sale at Rath Auto Resources. Right now, bring in your old car and get $3,750 above the appraised market value for your trade. Take advantage of over $20,000 in recent price reductions on our road-ready certified pre-owned inventory, inspected and reconditioned in our on-site Meineke Car Care Center and backed by a comprehensive warranty. It's the Rath Ride Replacement Sale all this month at Rath Auto Resources, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, rathautofortsmith.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
The SEC is the best conference in America.
The tough will survive in this game, and I feel like the SEC is the toughest.
Arkansas is the SEC champion. You know, every game is a dogfight.
We're about the toughest there is. Week in and week out, you're going to play some of the best, the biggest, the fastest.
The Hawks are finally holds the first SEC tournament championship for Arkansas. Where opponents' dreams come to die.
This is your SEC update on the Morning Rush.
So Nico Iamaleava is no longer a Tennessee Volunteer. It only took me about an hour and a half or hour 20 minutes to get that name right. The Tennessee Volunteer Program moving on without him. Now, Colton, you said something interesting, and I probably should reiterate this and remind everyone. Tommy is going to be, everyone's probably wondering, where's Tommy? Tommy's going to be out this week. He'll be back with us next week. He's taking care of some stuff this week. Colton, you said something earlier in the show about kind of Tennessee standing tall. I'm going to be honest. When I saw this initial news, I think it was reported initially by Pete Nakos of On 3 Sports. I'm thinking, well, Tennessee's going to cave. They're going to pay this kid. Instead, they didn't. Now, I do find it, I will say this. I find it laughable, whether it's coaches who often have agents, again, getting them paid more, media people, which I saw Reese Davis, and I'm not trying to speak will or single out Reese Davis, but even Reese Davis had something to say about this. Reese Davis just got paid to stay at ESPN with Fox trying to pull him. So it is funny to me when media members and coaches talk about this, and yet they do it in their own personal lives. Give me a break. If you're going to have even I talked with Tommy about a contract stuff. Like I can't even dog Nico or his dad or anything like this. It's life. Everyone thinks they're underpaid. There's not a soul that thinks they're overpaid. Yeah. Not a one of you. So like to blast this kid, Tennessee fan saying, man, I'd fight communist China to run through the T and all this stuff. Like, come on. We live in a different age. I'm not saying I like everything, but it is just a joke how people think that if they were in this situation, that they wouldn't even at least speculate We're possibly on that yet. But what you said earlier was important. Sorry, I went into a soliloquy there. Go
and
ahead.
to someone like me in Utah who actually have some personal relationships and know some of these coaches, but to the casual fan, the people that listen to us, this comes at an even bigger dissonance because these same fans that see Nico asking for $4 extra million in Neyland, some of them are getting priced out of the same seats they've sat in for generations because the price of everything is going up. Talent fees and everything is going up, and Nico is included in that. I was proud that Tennessee stood tall because I don't want to see the same things happen here at Arkansas, and I don't want to see the same things happening all across college football where all these players and everybody has the power to it takes away what makes college football so good. And the amateurism and the traditionalism is why people turn their TV on. So if they want to watch the best football, well, wait till Sunday. That's bar none better than the college product.
Two things can be true. Everything you just said is accurate, I believe. But you don't also, like, the kid has his own opinion. And maybe he's getting bad advice from his father.
That's
personally, I don't think he's worth that money. But there's a lot bigger, honestly, there's a lot bigger fish to fry. And there's, I think, a lot more college football experts that maybe would have a different opinion than
Would you be interested to know that Tennessee Athletics does not have a general manager? Does that have anything to do? You think that has anything to do with it at all? There's nobody there to maybe give an extra. There's nobody there to for Nico's sake to say, hey,
Josh Heupel is that said guy.
He's obviously doing well.
Yep. All right, SEC baseball games this weekend. Unfortunately, the Arkansas Razorbacks fell in Athens. You're still 12-3 in the league, outright second place, only behind the Texas Longhorns, who now have the number one spot in the Southeastern Conference. In games this weekend, you had Florida beat Missouri, A&M defeated South Carolina, Tennessee defeat Ole Miss, Texas defeated Kentucky in Lexington. That was a big win for them. Auburn beat LSU, swept them 3-0 in Auburn. Mississippi State went to Alabama and won, and then Oklahoma took down Vanderbilt. That is your SEC update here on a Hot Take Monday, brought to you by Wheels RV. If you're looking for something to bet on this weekend, look to Oaklawn Sports. I know Oaklawn Anywhere, you can always bet on horse racing and everything else. People really, really enjoy that, whether it's going to Oaklawn or just taking advantage of all the different races to do that. But when it comes to, if you just want to bet on sports, like games this weekend, you've got the upcoming series with the Texas A&M Aggies. You've got NBA playoffs that are starting up. You can find it at Oaklawn Sports. Basketball, football, baseball, MLB, your favorite MLB game, you name it, they can do it. Plus, new customers can earn up to $1,000 in bonus bets. What you do is when you deposit, you're automatically enrolled in the promotion. You'll receive a second chance bet on your first bet of each of the first 10 days for up to $100. Download the Oaklawn Sports app to check it out for all the details. That's Oaklawn Sports. Did I miss something from this weekend, Colton? Masters, softball wins, baseball goes down, Nico stuff. Is there anything, a tax day, final day tomorrow?
I think
NBA playoffs start this week. I was trying to go through it. I was hoping I didn't miss anything this weekend when it came to not just the sporting world, but really what's happened here in Arkansas as well.
As far as I know, you've covered all the bases. I was at a wedding. I was in my Ty Richardson era this past weekend, and so I was really kind of inundated with a lot of those festivities, but I was able to keep my eye on the game and my ear with the Hit That Line Now app. I was able to listen to the game for a little bit, and Phil called that on Saturday, but I think that you've hit everything so far, all the major talking points.
Only got two more this year. I've got one next week in Nashville, and then another one in Nashville in October, and that's
as of now.
Yes, as of now. We'll see if something changes, but as of now, those are the only two nuts. National Grits Day. If you guys like grits, I personally like the cheesy grits. I typically don't eat breakfast, but if given the choice and the opportunity of something on the breakfast buffet, I'm going to take advantage of some grits if they're there and everything else. All right, Doug Bell coming up momentarily here on the Morning Rush. Hot Take Monday. We'll see if he has the hot takes for us this morning. Tell you what's not a hot take is that you'll have a great time at Gaston's White River Resort. 870-431-5202. I know my parents love going. They've got the private accommodations in the lodges and cabins. They've got a fully equipped kitchen, or you can let the restaurant staff deliver to your cabin. Check them out at gastons.com. One more time for Clint Jacob and their team, 870-431-5202. Gaston's White River Resort. A first-class time every time.
It's Hot Take Monday on the Morning Rush. Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Spring camping season is here. Don't miss the NWA RV Show and Outdoor Party, April 12th and 13th at 5102 West Pauline Whitaker Parkway in Rogers, just behind Newt's. Sponsored by two of the state's largest RV dealers, Wheels RV and Moix RV. With brands you love like Grand Design, Jayco, Brinkley, Flagstaff, Coachman, Catalina, Vibe, and Winnebago, and on-site financing available. There will be a variety of vendors and bounce house for the kids and so much more. So make plans now to attend the NWA RV Show and Outdoor Party, April 12th and 13th, 5102 West Pauline Whitaker Parkway, Rogers.
Hey, Ty, Tommy. Good day to be a Razorback. What a game.
This is the Morning Rush.
Hey, Ty Richardson at my favorite place, Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, 508 Garrison Avenue. And Cricket, we always talk about specials. You know, Thursday is my personal favorite night. We're here every Thursday. Bucket special, hard to beat.
You gotta love the bucket special. I mean, you come in, you can get 5 domestic bottles in a bucket for $15, and then you get to hang out at Papa's. It's a great deal.
Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, the best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world. Cricket, what do you think about Papa's Pub and Pizzeria?
I think it's the best darn pizza in Fort Smith and perhaps the world.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Save up to $5,000 on select Buick Envisions at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The Buick Envision showcases inspired design with exclusive features in this 5-passenger SUV. Or drive the brand new Buick Envista, a stylish crossover, for as low as $399 per month. These are limited time offers. Experience the new Buick at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith or online at harryrobinson.com.
Weekday stays starting at $169 a night at Big Cypress Lodge inside the Memphis Pyramid. Take advantage of discounted stays from January 2nd to March 6th. Enjoy on-demand shuttle service, complimentary tickets to the Sky High Ride, plus rooms overlooking Bass Pro Shops and the Cypress Swamp. Book your stay today for weekday stays, January 2nd to March 6th, starting at $169 a night at Big Cypress Lodge inside the Memphis Pyramid. Based on availability, not valid on current reservations. Prices do not include tax and resort fee.
Hey, Hog fans, this is Robert.
This is Elizabeth.
And this is Matt, and we're with the Stadium Shop on Razorback in Fayetteville.
Hey, do y'all know what time it is?
It's about 2:30.
Summertime?
It's that and a whole lot more.
And no matter what's happening, the Stadium Shop has what you need.
We have the best selection for showing off your Razorback spirit while on vacation, even Razorback swim trunks.
Graduations, anniversaries, birthdays, we have what you need for your event.
And we have what you need for that trip to Omaha.
Even a new line of hard shell luggage.
Also, Omaha tees, flags, bases, loaded hats, and the boppers.
And you can get them here at the Stadium Shop located at 989 South Razorback Road next to Baum Walker Stadium. Or you can check us online at those WWNs.
Dad, let me do that before you hurt yourself. He's talking about our website, shoponrazorback.com.
And if you can't reach us there, call us at 479 Stadium.
All from the only family, alumni-owned and operated Razorback store.
South of the North Pole.
Dad, please.
Folks, it does not get more Razorback than us.
Go
Hawks.
Join us for the legendary adventure Mystery at the Forest on Saturday, April 26th. Heart to Heart Pregnancy and Family Care Center invites you to share this magical evening of excitement, mystery, and fun. If you are a business or individual looking to sponsor a heartfelt organization or to buy tickets, please text H2H Mystery to 44834 or call us at 479-452-2260. Heart to Heart's Mystery at the Forest, April 26th.
This is Coke Zero Sugar. Could I be the best Coke ever? Try and taste with your ears. Hear those bubbles? Imagine them tingling on your tongue. Fizzy deliciousness. Listen to that cascading liquid. A mouth-watering waterfall. Irresistibly tasty. Zero sugar. Crisp, refreshing, and ice cold. Is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? Try and decide.
It's sad that we live in an unsafe world, but we do. Would you be able to show the police who was at your home if something was taken? Guardtronic installs alarm systems as well as camera systems. We here at ESPN rely on our Guardtronic installed cameras to keep an eye on what's going on around our building, as many of you do. Guardtronic has been serving the River Valley for over 60 years. Call Guardtronic for a free estimate so you'll be able to show the police who the bad boys are that took your belongings. License E50.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. The Hit That Line Now app is ready for you to download from the Apple and Google Play stores. Sponsored by Taco Bell. Live Moss.
I gotta go get a green jacket.
That was Rory McIlroy after winning the 2025 Masters yesterday. We're going to get some insight from a guy that's done this a long time, Doug Bell. This guy came highly recommended by a couple of friends of mine. So we'll chat with him coming up in just one bit. We're brought to you this morning by WT Equipment. Spring is here, and it's time to upgrade your equipment. Whether you need a powerful zero-turn mower or a hardworking utility tractor, WT Equipment has the deals to get you rolling. Right now, it's the Hustler Sales Event. Save up to $1,700 off MSRP on select Hustler zero turns, like the Raptor X. Plus, qualified buyers get 0% financing for 42 months. You need more muscle for the job? Take advantage of ready-to-roll savings on New Holland power tractors with 0% financing for 60 months, or cashback offers from 65 to 100 PTO horsepower models. These versatile workhorses are built for the field, the barnyard, and everything in between. But don't wait. These deals end June the 30th. Visit WT Equipment today. Call them for details, 479-442-8284, or shop online at WTEquip.com today. Well, speaking of mowing, Doug, do you just feel ashamed with your own front and backyard every time you see Augusta National? Because I sure do. I mean, it's like you look at your yard and it's just like, oh, this is never going to measure up, is it?
Hey, Ty, are you talking to me?
Yeah. That was
correct. Sorry, guys. I thought you were still doing a commercial. Listen, Ty, it never gets old. I've been going over to Augusta for many years now, and it's something that I really look forward to. In fact, over the years, I've covered a lot of things, whether it's the national championship game and basketball, football, Super Bowl, you name it, Indy 500, Kentucky Derby. I can go on and on, but the one thing that I look forward to the most is the week at Augusta National. It is, and you've heard it before. People say it's a slice of golf heaven, and it is. And it's incredible when you see all these old champions like Jack and Gary Player, they come back. But when you have an ending like you did yesterday, it was. And in my mind, Ty, listen, and the symmetry at the Masters is interesting. April 13th, 1986, Jack with maybe the greatest win ever at 46. And then April 13th, 1997, Tiger wins his first green jacket. And then yesterday, April 13th, 2025, Rory completes the Grand Slam. So in my mind, I don't know if you agree or disagree, those are the three greatest Masters of all time.
Well, Doug, I was going to ask you about that from a guy that's covered the event for quite some time. I was also looking up this morning. So today was I guess 23 years ago, Tiger won back-to-back Masters.
Yeah.
Today, 2019, 6 years ago, when he won the 83rd Masters tournament. So it's not. Are we not just living in a moment? Was that as good as it gets when it came to it? Because sometimes we get caught up in just what just happened, what we just saw. Based on what you just said, this needs to go down the storybooks.
Oh, there's no question. Now I was there in 19, and it's interesting, Ty. And listen, I'm a golf guy, right? And I hope your audience, sometimes they're like, oh, golf. But listen, when you're around Tiger, when he came back in 2018, and won the Tour Championship, this was after he'd had the back surgery, had not won anything since the U.S. Open in 2008. And I thought at that time, and I was walking inside the ropes describing the shots, that was the greatest comeback I'd ever seen. It was amazing as people spilled out onto the fairways there as he was walking up the 72nd hole at East Lake in Atlanta. And then the next year, you mentioned 2019 Masters, and he was going to have to come from behind on Sunday, and people were going to have to help. And Francesco Molinari, who was the best player in the world at the time, who was playing great, plunks it in the water at number 12. Brooks Koepka plunks it in the water at number 12. Tony Finau, Dustin Johnson, they all go in the water, and then suddenly it's like, oh, my goodness, Tiger's got a chance, and then Patrick Cantlay can't birdie 18, and Tiger gets number 5. And that was amazing to me. And that wasn't just the greatest comeback in golf history. That was the greatest comeback in sports history. I don't think there's any question considering what he'd gone through physically. And then suddenly we go through a few years of some interesting Masters wins. I mean, they're always great, but what Rory pulled off yesterday, I mean, listen, he had 4 double bogeys for the week. Nobody in Masters history has ever overcome giving back 8 shots. And when he hit in the water at 13, I thought, it's over. This is ridiculous. He's given it away. And then he comes back with a great shot at 15. Comes back with this spectacular shot at 17 that Jim Nance described as maybe the greatest shot he's ever hit. And then with a wedge in his hand, plunks it in the bunker on the 72nd hole, can't get up and down. I'm like, what the heck is going on? And then he comes back and wins in a playoff. I mean, Ty, come on. It just doesn't get any better. And then when you watch the raw emotion of this guy who wanted the Masters more than anything. Grand Slam was great. He's part of history, but he wanted the green jacket. And for 7 minutes after Jim Nance said, hey, it's the masterpiece that Rory wanted, no talk from the announcers for 7 minutes. We just saw that raw emotion, crying, hugging, kissing, screaming, looking up in the sky. I mean, it was just it's what you live for as a sports fan. And I think the Masters attracts people that aren't necessarily the golf fan. It's the Masters. And I think they saw that yesterday, how important it was to a guy who's 35 years old. And Ty, I don't know what you think, but I think on the Mount Rushmore of golf, I mean, you got to put Jack, you got to put Tiger, you got to put Rory up there now, right?
Because he's got
right?
4 or 5 now. Is it 5?
He's got 5.
Okay.
And he has 29 wins, 5 majors. But and listen, the Grand Slam, as golf historians, Gene Sarazen, he completed the Grand Slam in 1935, second Masters. At the time, there's no such thing as a Grand Slam. It was just this nice little tournament at Augusta, Georgia that he wins. With all due respect to the Squire, Gene Sarazen. Then Ben Hogan at 53, he won the Open Championship, played in only once. It was too expensive to go over by boat, and he goes over and wins, comes back, ticker tape parade. But again, nobody was saying, hey, this guy won the Grand Slam because the PGA Championship wasn't considered a major at the time. And then suddenly Arnold Palmer says, you know what? He coins the phrase, Grand Slam ought to be the 4 professional majors, and everybody's chasing him. Gary Player, in the modern era, Gary Player, Jack Tiger, and now Rory. So in my mind, Rory has accomplished this amazing feat. And to think the PGA Tour season is only a quarter finished. We have 3 quarters to go, 3 majors to go, and Rory has 3 wins, including the Masters.
And
pretty spectacular.
And he's what, 36, I think? So he's
35 years old.
Okay, 35. So he's a young age. Take advantage of that. Doug Bell's our guest, PGA Tour Radio, CBS Sports, ESPN. And one of the reasons I also wanted to have you on, Doug, is not just to talk golf. I know you're just joking about being a golf guy, but how about this stuff in Knoxville, Tennessee this weekend? I know you've got SEC roots, and Nico Iamaleava decides, hey, if I don't get paid, I'm ditching. And then Tennessee's like, all right, we'll call your bluff. Now he's gone. Don't know where he's going to end up. But what did you make of the biggest college sports story out of Knoxville this weekend?
Well, I was shocked and flabbergasted initially, and then as I watched golf and thought about it, I said, why am I shocked? Because all this craziness is happening in college sports. I did hear the name now. They're calling him Nico Iamaleava. Which I thought was pretty funny, right? This young guy was making 2.4. He'd already agreed to $2.4 million for the upcoming season. I mean, think about that. He was ranked last year in the SEC as the 7th most efficient passer in the toughest conference in America. I mean, he was middle of the pack, and didn't really. And there were 3 games, conference games, where he never threw a touchdown pass. So I mean, he's not an upper echelon guy. But he has a team, which a lot of these top guys, at least they consider themselves top guys, which includes an agent that you're allowed to sign with, his dad, who's an integral part of what this young man hopes to accomplish. and they all got together. A business decision was, we're not happy with $2.4 million. We want $4 million. We hear Carson Beck, who was at Georgia and now at Miami, is going to make $4 million, and we think we belong in that
Which
same
is
category.
also a joke, by the way, but continue.
Which is crazy, right? And so instead of negotiating, and I don't know what went on. We don't know what went on. Handshake agreement, a promise was made. Who knows? But instead of negotiating, as the transfer portal opens up, they blackmailed Tennessee. My goodness, he just didn't show up for practice. I'm not going to be there for the spring game. And good luck in the transfer portal, because we actually have people that are calling us now. And so Tennessee did the right thing and just said, but I will say this, Ty, I think Tennessee, they did that knowing that it was a possibility. And I think when the transfer portal officially opens, I think they're gonna have their quarterback. I don't think they're going to go with what they have.
I was going to say, why would you not want to play for Josh Heupel? You get to fling it all over the yard. You're going to have a good defense behind you, a good running game. I mean,
Absolutely.
If I was a QB, I'd look at Tennessee. And I'm an Arkansas guy, Doug.
Well, what's interesting about Tennessee, too, and Josh, did at Oklahoma, ran into some trouble with Bob Stoops, which is, you ought to go back and read some of those stories because that broke his heart. But anyway, goes to Central Florida and does it up there. And he runs, he spreads the field more than anybody. I mean, those wide receivers are right on the edge of the sideline. And if you're an accurate passer, which Nico was not, but if you're an accurate passer, I mean, you're going to have wide open receivers all day.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think you're right on. I mean, why? I mean, I understand he's trying to get more money, but why would you leave a situation where obviously it was going to improve your stock ahead in the future? But he chose not to. And again, I just harken back to, there's no rules and regulations. These top guys sign with agents, just like professional players, and the agent wants to get paid. And so you get with a dad who wants to make some money too, and they're making decisions for a young guy, and they put him in a tough spot. So I'll be interested to see where he ends up. The story I read is that they contacted USC, and Lincoln Riley, they're not interested, especially at that price tag. So we'll see. I mean, it's crazy, right? And unfortunately, I think we've opened the Pandora's box. You probably talked about it on your show.
Yeah.
And I hope this is not a domino theory where suddenly things are starting to fall where young men will hold out before a big game.
Oh my!
I hope that doesn't happen.
Well,
yeah, I mean, you can see that happening, right?
Yeah. Okay. I want to say, Doug, and this is just this was just wild speculation. I don't know if this was actually accurate or not, but I think it was the Clemson-Alabama 2017 national championship where there were rumors kind of swirling about that the players as collectively as a whole were going to hold out until revenue sharing came. Now, it's coming now, but it's stuff like that. It's like the doomsday scenario. Jim Nagy, I forget how you say it, the former Senior Bowl director, he got asked about it. He's the new GM in Oklahoma. And that's what he described it as. So Nico, in my opinion, will not be the last one that this happens with. You mentioned Tennessee spring game, which happened this weekend in Knoxville. Josh Heupel addressed his teams after. Arkansas has their upcoming spring game this weekend. I know you spent 40 years in Alabama, you got Florida roots, and you just know SEC. What are your thoughts, Doug, on Arkansas, where Sam Pittman is? I know, honestly, football's taking a back seat to Cal's basketball team, number one baseball team in the country.
Okay.
But your thoughts on Arkansas right now, heading into year two with Petrino and just what they have ahead of them?
Well, it's interesting, and I got to tell you this real quick, because back when I was doing Alabama games, one of our first games, this was back before the SEC network, and I was the play-by-play guy for the first game for Arkansas on the Southeastern Conference when Alabama came to Arkansas.
Wow.
And, yeah, it was great. And I'll tell you a funny story, because at one point coming back in the third quarter, the guy in my ear, my producer, says, "Hey, Doug, when we come back from commercial, we're going to show you a shot of this guy. He's the governor of Arkansas, and he's going to be running for president." And I said, "Oh." I said, "Okay." I said, "Let me get my pen. Who is this?" And they said, "Bill Clinton." I said, "Okay. All right, sounds good." And we come back, and, they show the shot of Governor Clinton, and, I told the story. Little did I know at the time he'd be a two-term president. I mean, my goodness. And then, of course, Alabama went on to win that game. Pretty handily, by the way.
Yeah.
But that was welcome to the SEC for Arkansas. But anyway, that was a long time ago. And then prior to the SEC Network, I was doing games with Chris Doring.
Yeah.
And we actually met with Coach Petrino. We would meet with the head coach when Coach Petrino really had it going at Arkansas. And to hear Doring, who played for Steve Spurrier, talk for an hour and a half with Coach Petrino. They were breaking down offense, and Petrino was asking questions about the Spurrier fun and gun, and Doring. I mean, it was, and I was a fly on the wall. I just sat back and I said, wow, this is pretty cool, because Doring obviously knows his stuff, and Coach Petrino, I think offensively is a savant. I mean, I think he's the guy who obviously his whole life has been offensive football. And to answer your question, that was a long answer, but I think now with him back again with a quarterback for the second year, I think things will improve. Hopefully, I mean, Coach Pittman is an all offensive line guy, and I know they went to the portal and got some guys, some big guys too. From what I understand, some of these guys, these transfers, one kid's like 6'8", 350, and we'll see it. We'll see if they can play.
Shaq McCroy, Doug.
Can't wait to see him. But they got to get better offensive line play. They got to protect the quarterback, and we'll see what happens. I think Coach Pittman, I love him as you do. You know, he's just an old football coach, and I go way back, and I love sitting down and talking to men like that who've their whole lives are college football. And I know Georgia misses him because he's one of the best offensive line coaches in the country. So, and I think it's a big year for him and Arkansas. So, and the schedule. I mean, Ty, how cool is it that Notre Dame's coming to town, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's going to be phenomenal. And then, of course, Auburn comes to town. Auburn should be better. I live in Alabama, by the way. And then, of course, you have your typical road games. At Ole Miss should be good. Tennessee, well, we've talked about them, LSU, and Texas. So, again, the schedule, it's kind of like Florida. How does Arkansas and Florida get the toughest schedule every year? Why is that? Does the conference office have something against Arkansas and Florida? I'm just saying.
I know your
schedule's brutal.
I know your former colleague Chris Dorian. I've heard him say the same thing when it comes to the Gators.
I mean, it's brutal.
Yeah.
It's absolutely brutal. So I hope Arkansas. Listen, I think I really do have a great deal of respect for Coach Pittman, and I think he's done a solid job amidst tough circumstances. Really tough conference, and this portal. I mean, they steal some Arkansas's best players. These kids enter the portal and can't blame them. It's tough to sustain success when you're really trying to battle in the best conference. And I think Coach Petrino is now comfortable being the OC. And again, he's in the upper tier in my mind to play callers, even though he's been around a long time. And I think he's a guy who's open to suggestions. He doesn't like, this isn't the way we used to do it 15 years ago. I think he's a guy who appreciates the modern game. So I don't know. I think the jury is out in Arkansas. I think it's going to be a tough season. Hopefully they'll win those home games. And I'm looking at Florida too. Florida's got the quarterback. I think that's the key, Ty, as you know, and your listeners know. You got to have the quarterback, and I think you guys have the quarterback, and you got to protect him. And I think that's the big question for Arkansas. And obviously, you're bringing in some receivers. I mean, hopefully they'll be good. It's an offensive game now. It really is. But you got to have those guys up front on both sides, by the way.
Yeah, and they got to reload on the defensive line after losing Landon Jackson to the draft. Well, Doug, we appreciate your time. First time appearing on the Morning Rush. You killed it.
Yeah.
Brett Norsworthy, Pat Smith had great things to say about you, so we appreciate you joining us with us this morning.
Yeah, Ty, anytime. And sorry for the hesitation at the beginning, but I thought you were still doing the grass commercial. I thought Ty's got a sponsor here, so I didn't know what to say. So,
you're good.
No problem.
You're good, brother.
All right, bud.
All right, that's Doug Bell again. PGA Tour Radio, CBS Sports, ESPN has called games over the years. Apparently the Arkansas game back in 1992, which was a cool story. All right, we continue on here on a Hot Take Monday, brought to you by Wheels RV. They just had their NWA RV show and outdoor party this past weekend. I know Chris Lee and their team excited to see you 5 miles west off exit 72 in Springdale. The best RV dealer year after year. You can check out the Brinkley Model C, Forest River, Grand Design. They have it all at Wheels RV. Plus that lifetime warranty with every new RV. Seek, explore, and discover with Wheels RV. Kind of going back a little bit, that would be a cool event to cover that Doug gets to experience each and every year. Colton, sounds
Man,
like that would be so. Grant Hall, our own Grant Hall gets to take it in, and that's something I'm definitely envious of Doug and Grant and other guys like that.
They just make it seem so much fun and like such a beautiful, timeless tradition always. And then the best part about it, Ty, is I won't get to remember any of it through my phone. I'll have to just have it in my mind. That is so great.
I think it's so there's that picture, and I'm forgetting if it was the PGA Championship or what event it was, but you've got all these people that have their phones out and everything, and I'm not gonna like taking in sporting events at the end of games. Like I do that for social media and stuff just to get something out so people can react to the craziness at the end of a game or a win or something like that. But you remember that picture of the guy holding that Michelob Ultra while everyone else has their phone out? He's just kind of sitting there and taking it. There's something, like you said, to be said about just not having your phone out and
Living in
taking
the
it in,
moment.
living in the moment. That is a good way to look at it. No, we were talking spring games there. Tennessee's was this past weekend. I think Alabama's was also this past weekend as well.
It was a practice. It was an 8-day practice.
8-day practice. Okay. Well, Arkansas football is back this weekend inside of Razorback Stadium for the red-white game.
Let's go.
This weekend. The event starts at 1 o'clock. First time more than 5 years, you're going to get post-game player autographs, entire roster, free family fun. Begins at 10 a.m. outside of Hogtown, outside of Gate 14. You got a car show, pep rally, kids' activities, and more. More information, visit ArkansasRazorbacks.com. So good conversation with Doug Bell. That will be in our Bud Light Morning Rush podcast, along with our conversation more on Nico with Michael Bratton, that SEC Mike. Tomorrow, Bruce Stanton, I know he's going to have an opinion on what happened. We'll also get a chance to check in with our buddy Tom Murphy as well. Great sports weekend. Would have loved to see Arkansas get one of those games against Georgia, ended up losing the series. But you're back at home inside of Baum-Walker Stadium, not just this weekend, but also you play UAPB tomorrow in Fayetteville. So you have that as well. For Colton Little, I'm Ty Richardson. Halftime, Phil Elson, Matt Jones coming up next. Plenty of reaction from what happened in Athens and more from those two guys as we continue on ESPN Arkansas. HitThatLine.com and our Hit That Line Now app, powered by Taco Bell.
Don't miss the NWA RV Show and Outdoor Party, April 12th and 13th at 5102 West Pauline Whitaker Parkway in